Hi friends, Suzanne here. Welcome to another paper pumpkin alternative video on my YouTube channel and blog. If you're new to my channel, I want to say hi. This video will share 5 alternative projects to stretch your paper pumpkin supplies. If you don't know what paper pumpkin is, click the link in the description box below and check it out. I always show what's in the box before I ignore all the instructions and create my own masterpieces. So come along with me as I attempt to create out of the box. Hello my friends, and welcome to the Paper Pumpkin Alternative for November 2022. We have a lovely stamp set that says Express Delivery, North Pole, Joy, Merry Christmas, to from, no peeking, open me, ho ho ho, from Santa, and a circle. We have the Cherry Cobbler ink spot, and of course you can do more with your holiday crafting by ordering these bags and they will coordinate. There's also some cards and envelopes on the back, and you can always scan your code, that quick response code, and get some more information on your paper pumpkin alternative or your paper pumpkin kit. So here's the kit. These are what the products are supposed to look like. They are tags this month, and it's called From the North Pole. And on the back you're going to get 4 alternative cards and also a list of all the things that are in the kit, nicely spread out, and also the coordinating colors, as well as these are color instructions. They don't need to be translated. They're kind of like IKEA instructions. They're very simple and you don't have to be a genius to put them all together. So this is what we got. So this paper pumpkin kit I actually had trouble with because it was pretty limited. So you know me, I gotta mix stuff up. So I'm doing slimline cards this time around for each and every example. So a slimline card is 8.5 by 7.5, and you score the 7.5 side by 3 3/4. So that's going to give you a slimline card. So as you can see here, I have a square. If I folded that in half, it's going to be a slimline card. So I have the, I guess this is the green or mint macaron sparkly glimmer paper, and I use the extras of it. And now I am using Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I am stamping ho 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 several times. I tried to cut my head out of each and every stamping, but it wasn't easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to color with my mint macaron and my color lifter. Don't forget about that very important pen. And I'm going to sort of ombre. So I'm going to color again on a porous surface. So this is my Stamparatus grid mat, and it's just called a small grid mat. It does fit inside the Stamparatus. It's sold separately. It's a pad of paper. It's absorbent. So what will happen is if my ink that I'm putting on this page gets too wet, it will pull through to the porous paper underneath it and hopefully not spread. That's the theory. So I did about 4.5 ho-ho-hos with mint macaron, and then I went in with the lighter color of mint macaron, and I do about 4.5 of them, and then I do a unique kind of a how do I say this? I use my color lifter, and I pick up some ink from my blender pen or my mint macaron pen, and I color with my, I want to call it a blender pen, but it's called a color lifter. So I get a very faint mint macaron. So I'm describing to you what I did, and here I am doing it. Now this is the color lifter, and I'm lifting a little bit of color from those two mint macarons. Then I'm sort of very sketchily sketching on some mint macaron, and I thought maybe it was a little too light or too dark. So I'm going in with my color lifter, and then, like I said, I'm going to do that tip to tip technique. So I'm pulling some color from my mint macaron, and eventually you'll see it. Here it is. So lifting, touching, lifting, coloring, and I'm coloring with that color lifter, but I'm just taking a little bit of color from my mint macaron. That is to get the lightest color. So then I sort of go over all the ho-ho-hos and with my color lifter to lighten as needed. This is the great thing about Stampin' Blends. You can color over them and you don't get that weird streaky line or anything. So I thought I was going to be able to use this long piece, but I eventually chose not to. I chose to use some of the smaller pieces just because that big piece was a little smaller than the smalls, and I can do and it was too small for the card front. So I used one here, and I'm messing around with the placement of my paper just to get it just so I can line stuff up and it makes it nice and straight. And then I just butt this second piece of glimmer paper onto, and I just stuff it up against the thing. It's the same size, everything's awesome, and I only had a little bit of leftover, so I have that big long piece that I can use in another project. All right, so once that is done, I stamp on, and I realized that I had a cat hair. Who does? Well, I always have cat hairs. I just don't share with you when I find them. So I stamped it twice, and I cut that little piece down. I'm going to fishtail the ends or banner the ends or whatever you want to call it. Cut in the middle, go from corner to the middle and corner to the middle again. And then I am putting that on a piece of mint macaron. So here I put, so I don't know if last video I ran out of adhesive. So now I have to just use wet adhesive because I don't have any dry adhesive. So you can feel my struggle. And before anybody asks me about the holder that the glue is in, it was made for me. I can't remember who made it for me. I'm super thankful for it. It is a 3D sort of printed idea, and probably homemade, and I don't remember the lady who made it for me, but I'm super thankful. So anyway, you can see what I did there. I just eyeballed it, you guys. I didn't measure the outside, and what I'm doing is going to put dimensional adhesive underneath the banner ends just to make it, stay fluffed up, and then I'm going to put wet adhesive, but just because I don't have any dry adhesive on that top portion. So I am adhering it right there. I'm going to be putting the hat over top of that. So, but this is a card front. So this was a quarter inch or maybe an eighth of an inch. No, I think it's a quarter of an inch smaller than the card base. So again, I told you the measurement. It is 8.5 by 7.5 scored at 3 3/4. So my little piece was probably 8.25 by 3.5. So that was my card front piece. So hopefully that makes sense, and now you can see what a slimline card is. And all the cards today, I'm mixing it up. We're all doing slimline cards. So I adhered the Santa hat, and I used Wink of Stella on the Santa hat and its pom-pom. All right, here we are with card number 2, again with the slimline. So this is a circle, die cut circle that was in the kit. I've inked up with my large size cherry cobbler. And because I didn't use my piercing mat to stamp on this, and even though I rubbed it with my fingers, the deer did not come out solid. So I quickly grabbed my Wink of Stella and I colored her in. So, and what this does is this liquid in the Wink of Stella is helping to sort of move that ink around. It's still pretty wet because I just stamped it, so I can move it around a little bit. So now she's sparkly and cute. So here is my glimmer banner from the kit. I'm putting wet adhesive because I've run out of dry adhesive and on the back, and then I'm again doing that using dimensionals on the bottom of my banner to make it look like it's moving or flopping in the wind. So I'm putting this at the very top of the slimline card, and you can see I have a whole bunch of holes on the left hand side. So I'm just putting a little bit of glue there, and I'm finding one of the green sparkly holes and I'm adhering that inside. So it's like now a full banner. You can't even tell that there was a hole cut in that banner. So I put dimensional adhesive behind my circle, and here is a half of a snowflake. I didn't want a full one because it would just go to waste, and I will use the half snowflake in another card coming up. So I use this half one, and I'm able to sort of squish it in behind. It has wet glue on it, so it does have that wiggle room time. I can sort of push it to where I want it. And then I'm adhering the Express Delivery North Pole circle with the glittery deer. And then all of my sparkly green holes I decide to put on the card as well. I'm using the Take Your Pick tool, and I chose only to do 3 so far, and that's the third there. I couldn't decide where to put it, but I kind of stuffed it up underneath the deer. All right, so here I'm going to ink up the Merry Christmas sentiment from the kit and stamped it right on the card base and folded that in half, and that is number 2 card. All right, here we are with card number 3. I think this might be my favorite one. So I have mint macaron here, and I have a blending brush and a non-porous surface. So that very same page that I used from my Stamparatus small grid mat, I actually have run that through the, like an, I don't know what you call it, a machine that puts melts plastic on stuff. Oh my gosh. My brain is not working. Anyway, it is a non-porous surface. I use this all the time. So maybe check back in some other videos to see what I call it, because my brain is a big fart right now. Sorry. So I used my blending brush to go over that, and now I sort of squish some of the Wink of Stella liquid out. This one actually I refilled with water, and I'm flicking on that liquid, sparkly liquid, over top of the blended green or mint macaron color, and I was not shy with that. So once that was dry, I put dimensional adhesive on the candy canes, and I'm putting them straight in the middle of the circles that have been blended with mint macaron and gold splashed with gold Wink of Stella. All right, so I did put glue on this first one, but I wanted to measure. So 8.5 divided by 2 is 4.25. So I'm finding the middle, and I'm going to place that one that has glue on there right there. So then the second one is going to go halfway between the edge, and it's going to go halfway between the middle there. So, and my candy canes are not going to be facing the same way. I don't like that. So that's not me. It's got to be cattywampus, but also kind of equal. So again, we have tilted to the left, to the right, and then straight up and down. Now here is it's like actually pre-printed for us, so we don't have to do any stamping here for this sentiment. And I decided I was going to put it over the very middle candy cane. So I had to place my dimensional adhesive. So these are mini glue or mini dimensionals that came in the kit. I put 2 on each side and only 1 in the middle. So basically it's going to create a step because there's already dimensional adhesive on the candy cane, and the middle one is going to sit on top of that, but the 2 sides are going to bridge that. So there is my mechanism. It's not a mechanism, but there is, so that the sentiment goes straight. Hopefully that all makes sense. I'm a very tired hairdresser doing this this voiceover. I've had this video done up, but it takes a while for me to get to doing the editing. So I do apologize that this is super late. Anyway, that is my card. And I remember the word now, it's called laminator. I ran the paper through a laminator. All right, so this is card number 4. That is a piece of cherry cobbler paper there, and I rubbed it down with the embossing buddy that comes with the embossing toolkit. So I am using Versamark ink, which is a clear sticky ink, and I am going to stamp the word joy right in the middle of that cherry cobbler piece of cardstock. So I am going to cut it down, but what I am doing is I sort of picked up a little bit of that gold embossing powder, and I'm going to set it off to the side for a moment. So here is my slimline card. Again, that's 8.5 by 7.5, scored at 3 3/4. And I stamped all over with that circle stamp, and I kind of mentioned it in the beginning. It's just a circle. I'm not sure. I think it's to replace the O in joy, but I'm not sure. So one of the nice things with the embossing kit, you get this tray. It's really easy to pour your product in there and then also unscrew the cap and tip it back into the, wherever you keep your stuff. I keep mine in these little jam jars. I love them. And then it came with this little brush that you can brush away those stray embossing particles. So these embossing particles are plastic and they melt and they stick to your paper. So you can see here, I have used my heat tool and it's heated up. Normally when I'm doing just a thin piece of paper, I go from behind so that you can see the embossing melt. But because this is thicker cardstock, I had to do it the kind of the normal way, I guess. I guess I'm abnormal. I like doing it from you know, underneath. But anyway, here's this little rectangle. I couldn't decide where I wanted to put it, so that is a tip for me to just stick with the middle. And I love the gold on white. I love gold on red as well. So this is the embossing Christmas card. And by the way, these cards have already been given out to my customers. All right, here we go with alternative card number 5, my 5th and final card design. So there was some die cut snowflakes in this mint macaron glimmer paper in the kit. So here I'm using my wet adhesive. And I am just sticking down my snowflake. There's that other half of the snowflake that I made mention of. So this is kind of a similar design as the candy cane one, but this is with the cards the tags that come in the kit. And they have a really cute, holly jolly writing on it. So it's really cute. So I'm having trouble making it stick. So I have to put a clear acrylic block on my on the things that aren't sticking. That's the one thing that I really dislike about wet glue, is it takes a while for it to stick. So, and that's also a positive thing about the wet glue, because it takes a while to stick, so you can move stuff. But if you don't want it to move and you stick it down and it's not sticking, you have to put something heavy on top of it, or you have to just hold your hand there for a minute, and who has time for that? Let me tell you, not me. So here I am. I stuck down all 3 of my little tags with my snowflakes. I'm using dimensional adhesive on that circle that's going directly in the middle. Just ignore the deer up there. It's just hanging out with us for a little while. It'll hop away in a second. Just ignore it. And then I put sort of like a strip of adhesive, and that is my Happy Holidays sentiment. And then I have all those die cut snowflakes that came in the kit, and I smothered the card with the snowflakes. So 1 right there, and then 3 over there. And I don't know why I get such satisfaction, but I do get a lot of satisfaction by cutting off the excess. I don't know why I really like that. Maybe it's because I am a hairdresser. I like to trim things, but I'm not 100% sure, but it's so satisfying for me to trim off the excess, which I will do right now. I am happy to do it with small scissors or large scissors. I think large scissors are more fun, but whatever. So that is my 5th card design. I hope you guys have a lovely Christmas ahead, Christmas time, and I will try my very best to continue inspiring you with some of the last chance products. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.